Listen, if you want abs, you got to stop making this harder than it actually is. Abs does not come from thousands of crunches. That's absolutely wrong. Abs come from a good diet and understanding how to do the exercise properly. So in today's video, I'm going to give you 3 tips to get your abs to pop and give you that six-pack look. Now, tip number 1 is you got to reduce the swing. So if you're rolling back and forth using momentum, that's going to not work your abs at all. So when you do hanging knee raises or hanging leg raises, what you're basically doing is only using your hip flexors. When you actually reduce the swing, you will notice that it's a lot harder to actually raise your legs up parallel or even past that. All right, so tip number 2 is going to trip up a lot of you guys. I'm going to make it super simple. You need to understand your back position for every single exercise. People are always asking me, should I round my back? Should I not round my back? So for specific exercises, you should, and others, hell no. So if you're doing cable crunches, yes, you should be arching your back, your lower back a little bit. And what I mean by a little bit, I mean a little bit, right? Your abs are flexing your spine. So you have to bend the spine to get the abs to contract. So if you keep your back stiff on this specific exercise, you will only be using your hip flexors. Now, if you're doing any ab work on the floor, that's totally different. So if you're doing a reverse crunch or even a leg raise on the floor, you want to start with your back flat. And then as you curl your pelvis up, your back is going to round up a little bit. Now, it shouldn't be drastic. It should just be slightly. Honestly, it should be a natural thing. So that's how you know that your abs are actually working. Now, let me be absolutely clear. If your lower back is sore after ab workouts, you are doing something wrong. Something completely wrong. Now, tip number 3 is you got to attack the lower abs, all right? Most people have the top 2 abs, right? That 4-pack, but they can never get the lower abs. Now, this does come from diet, but it also can come from exercise. And a lot of people just don't train the lower abs effectively. Now, look, upper abs get worked on just about every ab exercise, okay? So you have to specifically target your lower abs, especially for them to show, especially if you want them to poke out at a higher body fat percentage. Some guys, right, who have really good genetics, you can see six-pack abs on them at 15% body fat. And it's because they built the muscle up so that it pokes out. Now, obviously, if you get leaner and leaner, 10%, 9%, whatever, you're going to see those abs regardless. So to hit your lower abs, you want to start with these exercises, okay? Reverse crunches, hanging knee raises, and then lying leg raises. But here's the key. For all these ab exercises, if you're doing the exercise correctly, you will notice that you can't do as much. Similar to other exercises like squat, bench press, deadlift. You will get fatigued over time. What happens is most guys will do hanging leg raises and then they'll hit 15 reps for every single set. And what happens is on those last 2 sets, they're compensating, they're swinging, and then they're using different muscles. So you're not actually working your abs at that point. You're working your lower back, or you're working your hip flexors, or you're working your arms in some weird cases. So the key takeaways is to control your reps. And that's with every exercise. And then understanding when you should round your back. Okay, this is crucial. And lastly, train your lower abs because it is the hardest thing to get. If you stop cheating yourself through ab workouts, you'll finally start seeing definition and want to actually take your shirt off at the beach.